In this edition of the Podfest Expo speaker preview, I visit with Jen Hardy, who previews her talk on how to get the most out of this year's conference. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back for another episode. And today I'm thrilled to have with me Jen Hardy. Jen, first of all, welcome and thank you so much for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Jen, could you tell us your part in the world of podcasting?
So I am host of the Hardy Mom podcast, and I also do all the editing and all of that. And I'm starting a new podcast in 2023 called Medical Gaslighting.
Well, that's going to be interesting. Could I ask you what is the topic of your talk at Podfest Expo 2023? And could you give us a teaser or two?
Absolutely. So I'm talking about 5 steps to getting the most out of Podfest, because when I went in May, there was a couple of people that were standing off to the side, not really getting a lot out of it, and I was getting so much out of Podfest. I just wanted to help everybody get everything they could. And so I gave them a few tips, and by the end, they were running around taking pictures of everybody, making plans for the future. And I thought if I could share those tips with everyone else, then we can all have that same amazing experience. So that's why I wanted to do it.
That is one of the most useful topics I think any conference can have, but particularly Podfest, and most particularly for folks who it's their first, second, or perhaps even third event. Where, I mean, to this day, I'm still overwhelmed, and I've been going since 2018. And I know if I don't do something with the information I've gotten within the first week, it just sits there in a folder. Absolutely. I, for one, am greatly looking forward to learning about how to get the most out of it. But could I ask, Jen, what do you hope to get out of Podfest Expo?
For me, it's the connection with other people, with other podcasters. It can be lonely sitting here in my office. I've got this beautiful studio, but I'm also by myself. So just getting out and making the connections with other podcasters. And there's just something about the Podfest family in particular that it just feels more like family than a group of strangers that you're doing business with. Everybody just wants to help each other and work towards that goal. And I love that about Podfest.
Jen, unfortunately, we're near the end of our time for this episode. But before we leave, if our listeners wanted any more information on your podcast, where could they go?
Hardymom.com, HARDYMOM.com. They can find everything there.
Jen, thanks again for taking the time to visit with me. I'm really looking forward to meeting you next month in Orlando, and I'm looking forward to hearing your talk. So thanks again.
Thanks so much. I'll see you then, Tom.
This is Tom Fox. I hope you will plan to join me at Podfest Expo 2023 in Orlando on January 26th through the 29th. This production was by the Compliance Podcast Network and sponsored by Podfest Expo.